and welcome to yet another episode of HR Voices. This is the season 3 of HR Voices. On this platform, we invite top CHROs, HR leaders, founders, and CXOs from the exceptional HR tech and HR solutions companies. These visionary individuals are thought leaders and disruptors bringing change in the people management landscape. Today's special guest is Mr. Pankaj Bansal. Pankaj is an exceptional entrepreneur and disruptor in the true sense. He's the co founder and managing partner of CaretCapital and co founder of PeopleStrong and Taggd. He serves as the founder trustee of You in You, a charitable trust. He is active board member on the Prime Minister's Karm Yogi Bharat initiative, actively collaborating with the Government of India to introduce capacity building measures. Pankaj's venture PeopleStrong is one of the leading HR technology companies in India. PeopleStrong is serving more than 500 large enterprises in more than 10 countries with focus on creating a seamless employee experience with AI and machine learning. With 2 million plus users, PeopleStrong's tech capabilities span across the life cycle from hiring to exit. Welcome, Pankaj, on our show.
Namaste, friends, and namaste, Vineet. Wonderful to be here, Bilquis.
I want to know the perspective of the organizations when it comes to HR technology, how open Indian companies are in adopting and adapting themselves also when it comes to HR technology.
So, Bilquis, if I give you a good sense of number, there is a metric in our world, in SaaS world, it's called MAU, monthly active users.
Right.
At PeopleStrong, we had 98%. So there is no more better example of a high adoption. It's not just adoption, that's the way of their life. They mark their attendance on it, they check their pay slips on it, they run their work life on it. That's why we call it we bring joy, energy, and meaning in the employee's
Hmm.
life. So these three words, joy, energy, and meaning, reflects in the logo, brand logo of PeopleStrong. And my colleague and the CEO of PeopleStrong, because I took a back seat, Sandeep Chaudhary, very proudly explains the logo with these three elements of joy, energy, and meaning. So I think that's the adoption that we have witnessed. So that's never been a challenge. On contrary, we get suggestions more and more that customers want more additions in their app, etc., which we take into account. But adoption is our strength, if at all.
When we speak about AI, do you think that AI is replacing intellect? And as a founder of a very large HR tech company, do you see technology as a threat in terms of employment for the next generation? This is a topic which everybody wants to talk about. So I want to know
Yeah.
your views.
Yeah, WhatsApps are filled with DeepSeek and comparisons with Sam Altman. But I think I'll keep that aside. But let's look at the reality. We saw the first industrial revolution, second, third, and now we are seeing this the fourth industrial revolution. But if you see, every time we had tools with us, right?
Right.
So this is the first time probably, Bilkis, that we are seeing that we don't have a tool, but we have a boss. AI literally has
Mm.
become a boss. It is no more just an enabler, it's more than that. An agentic AI can do functions that we never imagined, right? If we assume there is a level 5, that day it will mean that it will replace a product manager, right? So technically, this is the reality. We can't take or turn off our eyes from this topic. That's a reality. We can define, say, it sounds nice in a conference to say, oh, this will be just supplementing, but that's not the reality. This has the potential to replace. However, having said that, the silver lining is that when we say it replaces, what does it replace? Does it replace people? No, it replaces drudgery. It replaces tasks which are repetitive. It replaces the average intelligence.
Right.
So it replaces three layers of managerial systems in a corporation. So if your company has manager and senior manager and a general manager and a vice president who's managing people rather than anything else, it will replace that. So it will
Mm.
push all of us to something what I call skill economy. If people are not part of skill economy but just sitting in an hierarchy because they have been in that company for 20 years, or there is a vice president role which is the manager of managers, that won't survive. Everyone will have to contribute. If you cannot contribute through your skill, you will be redundant. So that's the reality and conflict that humanity will face. Second big factor here is, and I'm going to take a minute or more on this, Vilkis, that the only way we can do it is be comfortable with it and give away 50% of work we do. Be it you, Bilkis, be it me, be our kids, be our parents. Can we give away 50% of our work through the agentic solution or AI solutions that exist and become smarter in what we do? We are privileged. We have access to it. There are so many people who don't have access to this. In India, we have just probably 25 crore people at best who are a part of organized workforce. We still don't have 50 crore people who are part of organized workforce. India is 140 crore people, 1.4 billion. So I think our
Absolutely.
effort should be that use AI to get them into the mainstream. That is why when I work with government and I see digital public infrastructure being built, like Aadhaar was built, like UPI was built, when will it come for skill economy? So there is a honest platform being built exactly on the similar lines, like ONDC built, which will become a network for employment and skills. So I'm very excited with the possibilities. At the same time, I know that we all will go through a massive change in the world as we stare the future.
Very well said. Very well said. In fact, the right thing is that you work with AI, but work smartly with AI. That is what the
And
point
yeah.
is, I think. My next question is that how do you see the Indian tech companies, HR tech companies, competing with the global ones currently? And where do you see Indian HR tech companies reaching in the next 10 years or so?
So see, HR tech has been dominated by US like every other sector. If you take any market report and say what is the total addressable market or a TAM as we call it in our world, almost everything 50% TAM comes from US. You pick up
Right.
mobility, you pick up cars, you pick up HR, you pick up finance. Everything 50% of the market of global is US. However, US also wants newer solutions. The workforce that we have is no one else other than China has this kind of workforce. So the systems that will come out from India will be far more matured, have the capacity to handle much more complexity than any other country, and privacy layer coming on top. So I just quoted you one example that PeopleStrong probably is the only app other than Workday. Not probably, it's the only app other than Workday which is rated 4.8 in a global world. There is no boundary. We are serving today in 10 countries, but who knows how many countries we'll serve. So I think we are poised to play an equal footing game. There is no advantage anyone has. Just because you're from America or XYZ country doesn't give you an edge. It is the entrepreneurs are equal today. It is only our capacity and capability which will define us, not the limitations of geographies.
So, what are the other future opportunities, threats, or challenges that you see? We know that India is equally, capable of bringing disruption in the world. What are the opportunities and threats that you see?
So the biggest threat is the fight between China and US on the supremacy of AI. Right?
Right.
India is not in that fight as of now. We need to get our chair on that table. As of now, it's only US and China. India is a distant uh, competitor there. So that's one threat that we have as a country. Number two, the data
Hmm.
sovereignty that China has. They have created a closed economy yet open. They are supplying everything, becoming the supply capital to the world, but India can become the talent capital to the world. But for becoming that talent capital to the world, we'll have to maintain our data sovereignty. We are free to give data away. I'm sure government systems, etc., are coming. I know when I work in government that we want to be the Vishnu Bandhu. We are playing that role of Vishnu Bandhu, or you call it a friend of the world, which is
Right.
helping the world. However, at the same time, this data sovereignty is going to define us in more than one ways. And thirdly, if the world needs, now I'm talking opportunity, we need a billion people over the next 10 years, at least 25% can come out of India. India cannot consume 250 billion people in India. So we will have to become the talent capital of the skilling world and send people outside India, for which a lot of work is to be required. But if you look at India Skills Report, we are at 54% people are employable today, as compared to 32%, if I remember the number, in 2014. So in 10, 11 years, we have traveled from 32% to almost 52, 53%. And I'm sure the journey will continue. And that's the biggest hope and possibility and opportunity we have. And lastly, as I said, all HR tech players will have to transition on the agentic layer. Employees would not like to even press five buttons what they do today. They would expect everything for an agent to do. So I see a future where every employee will have a personal agent who will do the work for each one of us.
That's fantastic. Please tell us what are the future plans of People Strong for the next 3 years, if we may know.
So, as I told you, Sandeep Chaudhary, my colleague, is the driver's seat. He's sitting on the wheel. But as I speak to him, he always tells me that, Pankaj, we have taken the first leap of agentic AI framework. And we want to make sure that our customers are delighted with it. Our employees of our customers can continue to experience this AI and leverage it. So that's the first big thing from a product perspective that's going. Second big aspect is how do we look at going deeper and serving a country like India, which is still underserved in HR tech market, rather than
Mhm.
only look at global markets. We are still underserved. We are hardly penetrated in our 24 crore of organized workforce. So how can we do that? 2 million that we're talking is nothing in that 240 million workforce that exists. So that's the second agenda we have. Third, look at some global partnerships and announce them in this year. And those global partnerships can be in shape of strategic partners, in shape of investor partners, in shape of people who will take us to the market. These global partners can give us more depth that is required. So these are the three things that PeopleStrong is focusing on, and keeping skill and payroll at the core. That's how we look at
Fantastic.
it.
We'll keep our ears and eyes open and we'll keep looking at People Strong's track also. These are the completely, work focused questions that I asked you. I also know that you write.
Yes, all right.
Yeah. So before we leave, we want to listen to a couple of lines from you. And I know that you write by the name Zahir. So we are all ears again and we want to listen to a couple of your lines.
So, see, I think that's very embarrassing in a professional forum, but I tell you, I'm a great fan of a poet. And I think he's the best poet the world has produced. And his name is Goswami Tulsidas, and an Urdu
Right.
poet called Mirza Ghalib, which is favorite of many.
Yes.
So I'm also smitten by their poetry and their depth and their devotion that they had. But I'll just share two lines which I wrote for Tulsidas ji, and I said, "काहे सुनूं मैं किसी की बात, जब बचन कहे तुलसी कहे बचन रघुनाथ, काहे सुनूं मैं किसी की बात, जब tulsi kahe bachan raghunatha," which means why should I listen to anyone else when Tulsi Das is talking about Ram, the Shri Ram, right? So
Brilliant.
that's two lines that I
Brilliant.
enjoyed when I wrote. And I also must say that when Tulsi Das ji said, जाती रही भावना जैसी प्रभु मूरत देखी तिन तैसी. So I think it has summed up my life. So can I see divinity in everything I do? Can I see divinity in the work? Can I start focusing on doing and less on winning? Winning is an outcome. But I continue to say this, Bilquis, unfortunately, people focus a lot on winning. So through this podcast, I would like to communicate a message that winning is overrated and doing is underrated.
Absolutely.
Life is about
Absolutely.
doing, not about winning. Winning just happens. So focus on that, and that's what I can say.
Wonderful thoughts. We are so privileged that we had you here for the talk today. It was a complete pleasure to have you with us today. Thank you so much, Pankaj. And we look forward to meet you soon again. Thank you so
Thank you,
much.
Bilkis. Thank you. Namaste
Thank
and
you.
best wishes to you and team.
Namaste. Thank you.